Today's topic is how to develop a money mindset. At first, I was going to call this training how to develop a money magnet mindset because it's just more, descriptive of what we're trying to achieve here. But before we can go into how to develop a money mindset, we have to first think about how our mindset is currently right now. And how did we get our mindset currently right now? So, this is very, very important. We need to identify how or where our money unconsciousness came from. Because we're going to be teaching you today about how to be conscious of your money and your mind. But how did we get to where we are to begin with? Right? So, how did we develop a negative relationship with money, which most of us have? And there's a reason for that, really. If you think about it, we all kind of grew up the same way in many, many ways. Unless you were, born into a successful family of, entrepreneurs or people that know these concepts already and you were taught at an early age, it's unlikely that you were blessed with this, idea that money can be good for your life, right? Most people have learned, like I did, that money only happens to you if you work really, really hard, right? And it's a noble thing to almost be poor, right? Like poverty is like somehow honorable. And money is the root of all evil. We hear this in our churches, right? We read this in our Bibles and all kinds of interpretations. So if you grew up like I did, I grew up like learning a negative, feeling about money. My parents never wanted to talk about money. In fact, it was like always an awkward conversation. They would just be like, "We're comfortable." Like there was no discussion at the dinner table. And then when you go to college, or when you even before that, like let's start at kindergarten. When you go to school, there's no discussion about money or how to make money or the fact that we need money to live our life. We never talk about that, right? It's not even in the curriculum at all. It's really the whole point is to learn how to get a job and then just be in the system, in the rat race. And Robert Kiyosaki actually talks about this in many of his trainings. He says we're not taught how to make money, we're not taught how to think about money, we're only taught how to just get into the system with a job, get into a lot of debt with student loans, and then spend the rest of our lives trying to get out of this hole, right? So that's the conversation most of us grow up with. We learn this also from our peers, our family members, and all the people that we surround ourselves with as well. So this can be challenging when you join a network marketing company, you join MDC for the first time, and you see all these people that are positive about money in the network marketing industry. And at first, I'm sure it could be kind of crazy to experience the exact opposite of everything that you had learned up until this point. You see people that are making more money in a month than most of us make in a year, right? I mean, we see the numbers, we see the success stories, we see, the transformations. And while we're where we currently are in our life and we're witnessing this, it's almost like too good to be true, right? Because we've never experienced that before. So how can we wrap our head around something that we've never experienced before? So I'm going to talk to you guys today about how to develop this money mindset because, when it comes down to it, what's the difference between the rich and the poor? It's not just a bank account because something led up until that point to make that difference. It's the way that we think, right? Successful people think differently. That's literally all it is. We think differently. And, I have changed drastically over the years to the point where I wouldn't even recognize myself. If I was talking to an older version of myself, the two different people, right? I always tell people that it's never too late to reinvent yourself. You don't have to be who you were 15 minutes ago. So if you decide to change and become a better person or a better you, don't feel you have to be tied to your old story, right? So that's what I'm going to get into next. Let's talk about what current story you're telling. What is the story that you're telling yourself and what is the story that you're telling other people right now? Okay. We have to learn the language of vibrational harmony. What I mean by that, because some of us think that, and I'm going to get a little woo woo for some of you guys have not seen a lot of my videos. Maybe this is the first time you've seen me. I'm going to talk about the universe. I'm going to talk about energy. I'm going to talk about the law of attraction and some things that may sound a little crazy to you, but stay with me because this is not church, even if it may feel like it at times. I do get, sometimes I start preaching, I admit that. But just so you guys know, I'm going to use these terms interchangeably. You can fit in your terminology that makes you feel comfortable. So there's no judgment here. But let's talk about what is the current story that you're telling. Now, most of us, when we think about the story we're telling to everybody else, like, for instance, who are you? We start identifying ourselves by different roles. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a nurse, I'm a network marketer, I'm a whatever, right? We start filling in all these things about what we currently are. What I found is that most people are always talking about what is their current reality. We love to tell people about our current reality. In fact, when you go to coffee with a friend, you talk about what's new, right? What's new with you? We're talking about our current reality. Almost nobody's going to be starting to talk about what is in their future, right? Because that would be weird. It would be feeling almost like you're lying. Oh, I'm a successful millionaire. Like your friends would be like, no, you're not. We know you're not. We see your car. We see where you live. You're not. So whatever you're trying to sell us, we're not believing it. So we get used to telling our current reality because it's more accurate, because that's what we're currently in. What I mean by that is when we identify things in our life, right? You can say, right now, I live in a bad part of town. Right now, I'm driving a 1989 Nissan Sentra, right? Maybe this is your current reality. That's the car I started out with, by the way. Now I drive a Lamborghini. A lot can change in a short amount of time. Why do I say that? Because my mind had to change drastically to get to that point. So my current story, your current story, where are you at currently, right? Let's think about this. Now, this is going to be your old story. I'm going to give you guys some steps on how to change this mindset. Most of us are telling our stories of, oh, my back hurts today, right? Or, I went to the store and my card declined. My bank account balance is in the negative. I've got $3 left to my name. We speak about these things because we feel that they are true for our current reality, right? This was probably the hardest thing for me to wrap my head around, because it feels a lot like make believe when you're trying to get yourself out of your current reality and into your future reality. So let's talk about vibration for a second. The law of vibration. What I mean by this, okay? So everything, and I'm probably going out of order on my notes. That's okay. Just stay with me. We'll circle back around again if we need to. But if you think about this, okay? Energy is everything. Everything is energy, right? I think Einstein put this into words for us, or Nikola Tesla even. Everything is energy. We need to think in terms of energy. Why does this matter? Everything is moving. Nothing is like staying still. Everything. Even you think your hand is like a solid piece of matter when really it is just energy. And if you think about it, we're just all a ball of energy ourselves. We're really no different than the stars that are in our universe, right? We're all made of stardust, which is kind of crazy to think about. So why does that matter? Because money is energy also. This was a hard one for me to understand too. Money is also energy, and it is current currency that we're currently using, whether it be gold or dollars, doesn't really matter. When I say money, I'm talking about all of it. I'm talking about the means to become abundant or live an abundant lifestyle. But when I'm talking about vibration, everything is in a state of vibration at all times, okay? So the universe doesn't speak English, right? I mean, maybe it knows English, but it doesn't receive messages based on English. When you think about in terms of tuning into a radio station, everything is received through vibration and frequency, okay? And I'm not trying to get too scientific on this call because I really want the majority of you guys to understand this. But what I mean by that is when you're speaking, first of all, speaking has a vibration, does it not? When you're playing a song on your iPhone, you can feel the vibration coming out of your iPhone. You can feel that, right? Beethoven, who was deaf, would write songs by putting his head to the floor and hearing the vibration, feeling the vibration of the songs, right? So what I mean by vibration is even the words coming out of your mouth, speaking, language is vibration, but it also matters the intent behind the words that you're speaking. So if you're saying, I'm going to be rich, but deep down inside, you don't really believe that, right? I'm going to be a millionaire someday. I'm going to be a super affiliate. I'm going to be a master affiliate, right? If you're speaking these things, it's great, but that's only one part of it because the universe doesn't necessarily know English, right? It only knows where you are at vibrationally if you are in harmony with the things you're speaking. So you could be speaking positively, but feeling negatively, and you're going to be out of alignment. Okay? You're going to be out of alignment. So we have to match our feeling, our beliefs with our thoughts and the words coming out of our mouth to become a vibrational match in order to attract the things that we want in our life. Why does that matter? Well, this matters because if you don't understand that part that I just said, everything is going to be much harder to achieve success. This is the last thing that I had to learn. Of course, the last thing, because if it was the first thing, I would have succeeded a lot faster. But I was the kind of person that would go to network marketing meetings. I would sit in the back, in the back row because I knew I was going to leave early because I didn't want to hear what they had to say. If it wasn't sales and marketing and how to recruit and how to actually do the business, I wasn't interested in learning anything else. I didn't want to learn about mindset because I had already felt like I had a good mindset. I already understood I had to believe in order to achieve it. I thought this was all just church. Do you know what I'm saying? So because of that, I shut down my mind. I became very closed-minded and didn't receive any of the wisdom that I could have probably taken in a long time ago. So because I shut myself down from receiving that message, I wasn't able to communicate fully with the universe with my intentions because I didn't have the tools and the mindset that would eventually take me there. So we have to first identify our current story. What are we telling people? What are we telling ourselves right now? Or maybe what we're telling people is different than what we're telling ourselves. Like some of us are like, yeah, I have to act cool around my friends or my family because they knew who I am and they know what car I drive, they know where I live. I have to act this way in front of them. But then when I go home, I'm a millionaire in my mind and I'm sitting in front of my vision board. I challenge you to just be one way, just be your future self and start stepping into that role, even if it sounds crazy to other people. Because let me just tell you, out of the 6 basic fears that Napoleon Hill has talked about in his book, Think and Grow Rich, which I'm going to reference in a little bit here, fear of criticism of others is one of the basic fears, right? We've talked about that before. So you have to first not care what anybody thinks if you're going to change your story. So let's talk about changing our story, okay? So you got to create your new story. This is going to take you some time and thought, and it's going to take you a lot of attention to detail, okay? I literally, like our homework assignment at the end is going to be to rewrite your story. But let's talk about how to identify the new you. So what are your goals right now? Your goals may be to rank advance in the company. Your goal may be to stay home full time with your children and create more income than your husband, okay? Or whoever, yourself, your past self. Maybe you want to just put food on the table and you just need $500 extra a month. Maybe that's your goal, right? So whatever your goal is and who you want to become, because right, goals without evolving into the person we want to become are going to be challenging. So let's think about that for a minute. What does your future self look like? Are you brave enough to even dream that? Because some of us are afraid to dream that. We're afraid to dream about our future selves because we have wanted this for so long that it almost hurts now, right? We've experienced failure so many times that it's just easier to not want at all than to go through with wanting and putting ourselves out there and being vulnerable only to be crushed again and again. But you have to understand that that's part of the process. That is part of the process. Failure is part of the process because you've learned another way of not doing something. And if you can collect a lot of those experiences, you'll eventually lead yourself to the one that works, right? The thing that makes it all worth it. So I'm going to challenge you to be vulnerable with yourself. I'm going to challenge you to be open and and be okay with wanting again. It's okay to be the little child again, that, the 5-year-old in kindergarten that dreams big, that wants to be in the NBA, or that wants to become, a musician, or something that we eventually talk our kids out of because there's no money in it, or it's too rare to become that. I want you to go back to that little child and think about who you wanted to become back then. Where are your craziest dreams at? I want you to get in touch with those dreams again, because now we're going to write our story all over again. Because I'm going to tell you guys my story. I grew up in a small town in California called Phelan. You probably don't know where that's at. It's close to Victorville, right, and Barstow, and it's on the way to Las Vegas. It's a town most people drive through. It's the number 3, I think, top crime capital in the nation right now. It's known for meth labs blowing up and causing fires. I'm not kidding. This is where I grew up, okay? Very, very small minds that live there. I grew up on 5 acres of land, which was mostly just weeds that we had to spend a lot of time outside weeding for, to prevent fires and that kind of thing. And what else? I worked at a gas station, you guys. I worked at a Wendy's inside of a gas station, a pilot gas station. And this was how I had my entry into adulthood. Okay. So if I can start right there and now be living my dream life, you can do it too. Okay. Because no dream is too big. Because if you had told me I would have eventually become the founder of this amazing product line, if you would have told me that I would have become, wildly successful beyond my dreams, I probably back then would have thought, that sounds really cool. And I feel like I could maybe get there. But at the same time, I don't have like connections. I have no way of knowing how I'm going to get there. And I would probably have talked myself straight out of my dreams back then if I had only known the possibility of where I'm at today. So wherever you're at right now, don't let that be a discouraging thing for you. Just know that anything is possible, okay? So we're going to create our new story. You have to become this version of yourself. We talk a lot about, like, we use fitness as an example. I had this epiphany when I was getting back into the gym, okay? And I thought to myself, I used to identify people that were like gym people as gym people. Like, they're just fitness people. There's like a certain kind of person, and they're just that way, and I'm just me, and I'm this way, right? I like bread. I don't know. Can I ever be a fitness person? Can I ever be, obsessed with nutrition and that kind of thing? I don't know. I'm not currently that way. So is that really who I am? So I had to learn to change my identity about myself in order to become a better version of myself, right? So I had to identify with a healthy person. I had to identify with a fitness person. I had to identify with a successful person in order to become those things. I had to stop identifying with who I currently was. So some of us know we have a broke mindset. We know that when we spend money, we feel comfortable. We know that we are hoarding every last penny in case of the apocalypse, right? We know if we are withholding our true value to the world because of where we currently are. But you have to change the associations you have with yourself. You have to change where you identify. Identifying with your future self is what's going to ultimately catapult you into that new role, right? So you have to become it. There's no other way to become a gym person than to just become a gym person. You have to start thinking, would a fit person eat this? No. So I'm a fit person now, so I'm not going to eat it, right? Would an unhealthy person do this? Yes. And I'm no longer an unhealthy person, so I'm not going to do that. Okay. We have to also disidentify with our old self completely. Disidentify with our old self. So I had to monitor my thoughts very early on in my success. I had to catch the negative thoughts that would creep up, because I realized that negative thinking was literally just me being out of alignment with my wants and desires. That's what negative thinking is. Negative thoughts are you becoming out of alignment with where you are intending to go. So it's kind of an indicator, right? It's kind of like an alert system. Like, hey, negative thought, that's your emotional guidance system that's leading you into making a change within yourself so that you can be back in harmony with your true desires and your wants. Okay, so the next thing is we have to ignore everything out of alignment with our new story, with our new self. We've got to ignore everything else out there, right? So when people say, we know better than who you are, we know that you're actually this way, ignore all of that. You have to be ruthless when it comes to this. You literally have to shut out everything you don't want to hear. And you'll know it when you hear it because of how you feel. If you're around people that make you feel more negative, if you're watching shows and things on TV that are making you feel more negative, right? They're weighing you down, then you have to disassociate with those completely. You have to get them out of your awareness completely. If you're reading books that are making you feel down and negative, you have to stop reading those books, okay? You have to instead infuse yourself with the positive things that are in alignment with where you want to go. Start reading things that are going to take you there, give you tools to get you there faster, right? Start watching shows that are going to take you there faster, okay? That are going to be in alignment with your goals and your dreams. Surround yourself with people that are supportive of your goals and your dreams. This might be challenging. You may be thinking like, I don't have not one person in my life that's supportive. Then you need new friends, right? So it's time to make some new friends. And you can let them know, listen, I'm on a mission to creating a better me. And you're currently not in alignment with the new me that I want to become. And we can circle back around to this friendship at another time. But right now, I got to take a break because I'm working on me and I can't have any outside influences that will weigh me down or take me back to the old me. It's similar to being like an alcoholic. If you are trying to stop drinking alcohol, you probably shouldn't be going to the bar, right? You probably shouldn't be surrounding yourself with alcohol or putting it in your house or having it anywhere near you. And why? Because you don't want to rely on your willpower and just your willpower alone to get you there, because willpower is a practice. It's a muscle you have to exercise, but you can't rely just on that. You have to put yourself in the right environment so that you can grow. So if you're an alcoholic, you tell your friends, I can't go out with you because I cannot be around drinks right now because I can't drink just one. And I know that about myself. And that's how I used to be. But now the new me says that my environment has to be cleaned up so that I can support my goals and dreams. So if you want to be a real friend to me, then support me on this journey. If this isn't going to work for you, then you're probably not a real friend. So we have to clean up our environment. We have to put blinders on, right? We've got to put earmuffs on. We have to tune out of everything and tune into exactly what we want. This is the hardest thing. I feel like one of the hardest things for people to do because, for me, I could stop buying gluten-free donuts. I could do those things, right? But what do? I justify it and I go, well, my kids want to eat it, right? Or why am I still eating bread? I really like bread. I don't know. I mean, gluten-free bread, not real bread, right? So, we have to change our environment if we want to see the results change in our life. I would have to clean out my whole fridge, right? My whole pantry all at once and make a clean stop. In fact, when I went gluten-free for the first time, I had to literally donate my entire household food, literally, to change my environment. So we have to ignore everything outside of that, which is out of alignment with where we want to be. Okay, so let's talk about the whole money as evil thing real quick. So I realized that we've learned that if you watch any kind of TV, any kind of movies, the rich billionaire is always the evil guy, like literally always Lex Luthor. That's a good example, right? The rich guy is always the evil one. It's always a man too, by the way. You never see the rich woman. I don't know what that's about, but I'm kind of offended by that. But anyway, you guys, you see that in the movies, evil and money is like synonymous. But here's the issue with this thinking, okay? If you're always at odds with money, or if your mindset about money is out of harmony with when you're trying to sell yourself, you want to become successful, you're never going to get it. you'll never get it because you're constantly putting out these vibes, right? You're putting out vibes of stay away, money, like get away from me. You're basically putting a shield up against yourself so that you can never attract it. So, money is not evil, it is an inanimate object. Really, it's just energy. It is currency. It is a means of, it's a tool that you can use in your life. And you can use it for good or you can use it for evil, right? You can use it for a variety of different things. Money amplifies what you really are. You know, you see bad people become successful. Well, you see more bad in the world. When you see good people become successful, you see more good in the world. In fact, you guys, I've got a whole bunch of thank you cards from all the people that sent me cards back from me giving away $100,000 to the people that had lost their jobs because of COVID-19. I'm not evil, even though I have money. I use my money for good. So you have to look at it like, what can I do with this tool once I have it? In fact, you should start thinking of these things in advance because that's going to help bring your goals and dreams to you much faster. Okay. Uh, Also, hard work. Let's talk about hard work. Hard work is not noble. Okay. Well, it does take a lot of work, no matter how you look at it. I had to work very, very hard for my success, but not as hard as I thought I was going to have to work. It was much harder for me to be broke than it is for me to be successful. What I mean by that is living in poverty is hard, it's hard work, right? And living wealthy is also hard work. So, because of that, you don't have to identify with being uh, living in poverty and thinking that it's more noble and righteous to become, to stay poor. It's not, because you can make a bigger difference in the world by becoming successful. In fact, every single person has a birthright to become successful. Every single person. It is your birthright. You are literally owed success. Okay. And you just have to unlearn all the things that you've ever thought about money, and it'll clear its path for you. So don't think, though, that you have to necessarily work hard to get successful. You don't. You just literally have to become in alignment with your success. And you wait for the doors to open. When the doors open, you go through them, you take action, and the rest falls in place. That's literally how it works. So there will be risks involved. You have to take risks. It looks like risks, but really it's doors opening. I remember when we launched HempWorks, you guys, the hempworks.com domain was $2,500. $2,500. And at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, like that's a lot of money to spend on a domain name when I could just name it something else for $12. It could be hemp something else, right? But I just knew that I had to have this domain name. It was an investment for my future. It was an investment for all of your guys' future too. And I just knew, like, this is the brand, this is the right move, and I have to take this risk. And even though, like, my sense of not wanting to spend is there, I know that I have to put it out there. I got to put it out there. I got to do it anyway because I know money's energy and it's all in the flow, right? And I got to keep that flow. So alignment is more effective than hard work. So some of us are like, well, I keep telling my team they got to work hard. They got to work hard. Entrepreneurship is hard. Not necessarily. If you are in alignment, you would be so surprised at the opportunities that fall into your lap. Okay. People are like, how did you come up with HempWorks? I don't know. I was in alignment. I was already in alignment with my source of energy. And it came to me almost, right? So we got to stop thinking that money's evil and that, success is for evil people, because it's not the case. You get to still decide who you're going to be at the end of the day. That's still your choice. Money's not going to make you happy either. You must be happy before you attract money into your life. I'm going to get onto that topic in a second, though. So let me talk about something else. We'll just shift really quick. Losing it all just to get it back again. Have you guys ever seen people like this in their life? They go like this. Like, I know majority of us, we're more like this. We're just kind of coasting at the same pace for the last 20 years. But let's say we're not. Let's say some people, or maybe it's you, if you've been in network marketing for a long time, where you've had lots of success and then you're broke again. Lots of success and then you're broke again. Why does this happen? What is this phenomenon that happens to us? Okay, so here's my theory on this, right? Coming from somebody that went bankrupt, all right? Uh, Here's what happens to people. Oh, somebody said Donald Trump lost it all and then he got it back again. Why does this weirdness happen? If you have the mindset already, then what's the issue? Well, here's what happens when you start becoming successful. If your mindset doesn't necessarily change with the growth of your bank account, right? You're going to return back to the state of vibration in which you left off. So if you still have a poor mindset, but you may have attracted wealth and riches from a temporary motivational mindset where you've temporarily become positive towards your future and you have temporarily hit a rank or I got a big paycheck and then you lose it again. Think about the quality of your thoughts that led you back down that path of losing it all. Think about that. And why do I say that? Why do people get it back again after they hit rock bottom? Well, because they have nothing to lose. So now they're free to create without any hindrances. They're free to create because there is nothing left to lose. I had to lose literally everything in order to understand that I could create from nothing. Now, when you have something to lose, right? I did this exercise with Josh because I had already lost everything. He hadn't, right? He's a freak of nature who was just successful from, he turned 18, got into network marketing, did 100 million in sales in his last company before he started this company. He traveled the world, 40 countries. He's a freak of nature. Like, who? I don't know anybody like him, to be honest. He hit success right away. In fact, he dropped out of college because his first month in MLM, he made $5,000 and said, well, this is much easier than going to school. So logically, why would I continue on going to school if I can just do network marketing? This makes more sense here. Most of us have a lot of issues we got to deal with. Josh accepted it and was just like, I'm going for it. But, why do I say this? I had so much baggage of my life built up to the point before I even met Josh. I thought when I first met him, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I thought he was kind of arrogant and insensitive to my financial situation, right? Like, he's like, hey, let's go out to eat. I'm like, my bank account is not the same as your bank account. I'm not going out to eat. I'm going to make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and we'll meet you after lunch. Like, that was my mentality, right? So I was thinking I had a 700 credit score, right? And I had, all my bills were just on time right now. I didn't have a lot of extra money, but I was staying afloat, right? That's where I was. So my biggest fear was losing all what I had acquired up until that point. I was terrified to be late on my payments. I was terrified to lose my credit score, which I had worked so hard up until the point I was 28 years old when I met Josh. I had good credit and all this, right? I was terrified to lose all that for an MLM business, which in the back of my mind, I was thinking, is this really legitimate or am I going crazy, right? And am I really going to follow this, 23-year-old into this venture? How crazy am I being? I had to battle with these thoughts, right? I had 2 kids to support at the time. So what happened? Well, here's what happened. I went on this mission of trying to hold on to everything that I had left. And this is what Josh told me, which is the craziest thing I ever did in my life. He said, if you want me to mentor you, then you need to quit your jobs. You need to go full-time in network marketing. You need to be all in. You need to devote all your time to this. And you need to take direction and be coachable. So I said, okay, yeah, I can be coachable, blah, blah, blah. But you want me to quit my job? I got to pay for my kids. Still, I got to feed them. I got to do all these things. And he said, yeah, but you're going to be wasting your time trading it for money in a job. So you cannot do those things and be successful here if you want me to train you. I'm not going to waste my time training you if you're going to be doing insurance sales over here. So I was so fearful. I did it anyway. I took the risk. I did it anyway. I sold my business and I went headfirst into network marketing with Josh, right? And he's a new guy that I just met at the time. I did all these things on faith, complete faith, even though inside I was terrified. I was terrified of losing everything. And that's exactly what I attracted because that's exactly where my mindset was. So I lost everything. So I'd like to tell you that, there's a success story after that. But before the success, I went bankrupt. I had to file for bankruptcy, you guys. I lost everything except for my Ford Fusion, which was a hybrid. It was a black car. And I'm telling you these things because I got this car because I thought in the back of my mind, just in case I got to be a Uber driver, at least I'll have the car, right? Like I can make just some money, right? That's literally where my mindset was. And he said, because your mindset is there, that's exactly what you're going to get. Wow. Okay. So this is what happened. I went bankrupt. I lost everything. I attracted exactly where I emotionally and vibrationally was at. And what happened to me after this happened? I lost everything. So I had nothing to lose. I was free. I realized, wow, I'm still alive. I'm still breathing. I still have my health. I'm still working on that. My kids are alive. I'm still somehow able to feed them. In fact, I have more money now that I don't have any debt. So maybe I can make this thing work. So I let go of everything. Everything that was weighing me down, I let go of it. I surrendered. I just flat out surrendered. I said, you know what? Now's the time to be happy. Now's the time to have an abundance mindset. Now's the time to just be in the flow and be in the moment and trust that the universe is going to open the right door at the right time. And I'm going to trust that I'm going to witness when that happens. So I know what door to go through when it happens. I surrendered. And, like a year later, right, we were getting ready to move to Las Vegas. Actually, we were already in Las Vegas at Rick Track. And he's sitting in his office and he's like, asking me for advice now. Now I become like a spiritual guru in the midst of all this, right? I work on myself. And he's asking me, he's like, this is very early on in my daily choice at the time. And he says to me, should we let this leader go? This leader is cross recruiting. And I said, yes, we should. And he said, but it's the only leader we have besides you. And if we let that person go and they take their team, then what's going to happen to the company? And I said, the universe is bigger than all of that, right? The universe is bigger than all of that. And you can literally attract anything because I know I've done it myself. And I had such a strong, abundant mindset that nothing was going to stop me. And I was not about to allow this man to make mistakes in his integrity in hopes to hold on to what was left because I had just experienced what happens when you let go. So I said, what happens if this person leaves with all of our people? He said, well, we may have to close up our shop, right? We may have to close My Daily Choice altogether. Maybe we'd have no volume. We go to zero. I go, okay, great. Then what happens? And he says, well, then we probably can't pay our rent, right? And we can't pay our car payment and we can't, maybe we go homeless and we're on the streets. And I said, okay, then what happens? He's like, well, then all of our bills will be behind and then we'll probably have to, relocate, maybe go back to our parents' house or something like that. And then what happens? Then we're on the streets. And then what happens? And he's like, well, then I said, then we're still together. We're still happy. We still can figure ourselves a way out of this, right? Nothing really. So there's nothing really to fear. Okay. Because everything is circumstantial and everything can be temporary if you look at it that way. So if that's the case, it's more important to make the right decisions with integrity, even though it may cause a temporary loss, because it keeps you in a vibration of harmony. And if you are in a vibration of harmony, bad cannot occur to you. Only good can happen to you. And when it seems like bad is occurring to you, it's because it's where you're at. You have to level up to get to the next level. It's just a lesson you have to learn in order to be rewarded with what is waiting for you. So he said, I got you. I got that. And you know what? From now on, I will never operate in fear. And so he learned from that moment on to let go and always make the right choice out of integrity and always make the right choice because karma is a real thing. When you are going through this money mindset with yourself, it's easy to take shortcuts in integrity. Anybody can do that, but it takes a level of trust to always make the right decision, even when it might hurt you temporarily. You have to give to get. There's no way around it. I could not succeed before HempWorks because I was not in a position where I wanted to give to people more than I wanted to give to myself. You see, at the time when I created HempWorks, I wasn't in a position where I needed wealth. I had already felt wealthy. I didn't need to become successful. I had already felt like I was. And so because I already felt like I was, when success came, nothing changed. for me because I was already there mentally and vibrationally already there. I had already planted these seeds a long time ago. I knew they were going to grow. I look at it like this. When you place an order on Amazon, for instance, I'm going to use Amazon because that's how we're all shopping right now, right? When you place an order, are you stressed out waiting for that package to arrive? Are you like, oh my gosh, I just ordered toilet paper, right? Maybe if it's toilet paper, you're stressed out. I don't know. I just ordered this XYZ on Amazon. Oh my gosh, is it going to show up? I don't know. This is like placing an order with the universe. Same thing. When you place an order with the universe, hey, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be a multimillionaire. I'm going to put my kids in, private school, homeschool, whatever. I'm going to get them out of the system. I'm going to build a house. I'm going to get some land. I'm going to do all these things. These are all my dreams that I'm going to go towards. I place that order with the universe. I put it out there. Now all I have to do is become a vibrational match to those things and it will be on its way. No doubt, because it's law. When you place an order on Amazon, that's the way it works, right? It shows up 2-3 days later. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to talk yourself out of it. You don't have to start doubting. You don't have to start questioning. You don't have to start rationalizing all the ways that it may not come. It's on the way. So your riches, your abundance, your money is on the way, but you have to put it out there with so much confidence that you absolutely know it's coming back to you. There is a time delay. Thank God, because if we attracted everything we wanted instantly, we may get a little more than we bargained for. So there is a time delay. Just like with Amazon, it doesn't show up 2 seconds later. It shows up 2 to 3 days later. In fact, you have an opportunity to cancel your order before it arrives. So what I'm saying to you guys is anything that you're creating visually, mentally, emotionally, vibrationally, you can put it out there and expect it to return if you abide by these laws of karma, the law of attraction, attracting that which you're putting out, the law of vibration, becoming vibrational harmony to the things we must become in alignment with. So feeling good is key. Feeling at peace is key. Let's talk about your emotional guidance system real quick. What is that? I know all you guys know about your endocannabinoid system, but let's talk about your emotional guidance system. Okay? How do you know where you're at all times? It's insane to think that we have to monitor our thoughts, right? Because you have so many thoughts per day. In fact, if you're a woman, you've got like a lot of extra thoughts per day, more than men, I think, like statistically, scientifically proven, right? But where do you feel? What do you feel like? Are you happy? Are you at peace? Are you, are you feeling abundant? Because if you don't feel all of those things now, then your only goal is to get to that point where you can feel those things every single day. Right? What do you have to do to make yourself feel better? Sometimes you got to go for a jog. Not me. Okay. I don't like running, but I'll do it. You got to listen to maybe your favorite song. You got to read your favorite book. Maybe you take some time off because you're not in a good vibration. You got to do the things that you need to do to self-care, take care of yourself. Because if you spend more time working on that, then all good things will be in alignment to you. Now, if you are trying to do all these things and it's just not working, you have to look at your emotions. Your emotions are your guidance system to tell you if you're on the right track or not. Because if you're feeling negative, then you know that you're not on the right track. So you got to revisit your feelings, your thoughts, and go back to that so that you can get back in the mode of creation. Okay. So, like I said, money doesn't make you happy. If everything in my life was gone, if I lost my Lambo, oh God forbid, right? If I lost this house, oh geez, what would happen to me? I would feel exactly the same as I do right now because none of those things define my happiness. My happiness was defined before I attracted those things. So when we are judging other people with money, when creating those negative emotions within ourselves, and the reason we do that is because we feel deep down that we can't get there, we don't know how to get there. You have to become in such a feeling of abundance that you know that literally every single person can be successful. There is no limit. The universe is unlimited. We live in a thought universe. If you don't believe me, just read chapter 4 of Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. He talks about this. We live in a thought universe. Everything that's ever been into creation is first thought first. So if that's the case, then we can literally create anything we want. And every single person can be successful. Why the majority of people are not is because they refuse to change the quality of their thoughts. Now, your ego will say, you'll be fighting with your ego on this journey, but your ego will say, once I have XYZ, then I will be at peace. Once I have $1 million in the bank, then I will feel rich. Once I have, you know, whatever, you fill in the blanks. When I have this, then I will feel peaceful. It's actually in reverse. You got to reverse that. So your spirit says, first, I will feel peaceful. First, I will feel abundant. First, I will feel wealthy. And then everything will line up for me. So you've got to start with that in order to see the outward story change. You have to stay true to the story that you've created yourself and see it through until it's in your physical reality. Because it starts here, and then your emotions amplify it. And being on the vibrational harmony with it is what's going to bring it there. Okay, so let's now move on to something a little more practical. How do you guys feel when you're spending money? Because if you're like me, I had to check my balance before I swipe my card every single time. I don't have to do that anymore, and it's a great feeling. And I want you all to have that feeling because you can have that in your life. But if you're always resistant to swiping your card, right? You're always resistant. You always have negative emotions towards spending money. Then I'm going to challenge you to change the energy you're putting behind the spending. Start looking at it like it's an investment. Right now, if you're literally struggling, like, okay, first decide to stop struggling, because struggling is a negative emotion that's tied to lack. But you must be in a flow of confidence and enthusiasm when you are spending money. Never be in a place of negativity when you're spending money. If you're paying for your bills every month, it doesn't matter what your bank account says. If you're paying for your electric bill, I am so grateful and thankful that I had the lights on this month, right? I'm so grateful and thankful that I had hot water this month. And some of you guys are like, I didn't have hot water or my lights on. In fact, I'm on here because I'm at my friend's house watching on her Wi-Fi. That's fine. But you get the point, and you're going to start creating this for yourself. You start being grateful and have gratitude for the things that you do have, even if it seems like nothing. You have to start somewhere. The only thing I had left was my car. That was it. I'm so grateful and thankful that I have a car, because there's a lot of people that don't. You got to be so grateful and thankful for the things you currently have, because when you're in the mode of gratitude, you are in a position to attract everything that you want coming towards you. So let's start visualizing, though, what you will do with this money if you're spending. For me, like, it was an investment to spend $2,500 on a domain name. That might seem frivolous to some, but for me, I knew it was an investment, and it was something that I had to do to get to where I am today. So you never know how those purchases will shape you or change you in the future. You also have to look at it like, if I put this money out there, I know it's coming back. For instance, when I see homeless people on the side of the road, I give them $100 bills. Why do I do that? I know it's coming right back to me. It'll be blessed back to me in another way, shape, or form. But that's not why I do it. I allow myself to let go of the money because I know that money's not permanent. It's always in a constant flow. So I'm not afraid to lose it because I know I can get it back. So if we are busy saving and hoarding every dollar and coins that we have, you are stopping the flow of your creation. You're stopping the flow of the energy. When you're feng shuiing your house, right? They say that you don't want to have your front door in alignment with your back door, because all your blessings will just go straight out the window. Well, I look at it like, you don't want to be like that with your money, right? Or you want to actually. You want to, whatever you put out there, is going to come back. I put $100,000 out into the universe to bless families, 500 families with $200. And we had the biggest 420 sale and biggest day in MDC, biggest month in our business right after that. So I knew that when you put it out there, it's going to come right back. So you have nothing to hold on to. You have nothing to fear when it comes to giving, right? All right. Lastly, I want to wrap it up with our last 10 minutes with how to change your point of attraction. Okay. And I'm gonna give you a couple of homework assignments today because this is training. And what is the point of training if we don't put it into action? It's nothing. It's just TV at that point. So we want to change our point of attraction because maybe right now we are attracting negative things into our life repeatedly and we're not understanding how this is happening because you're a good person. Why do bad things happen to good people? Well, you have to check your point of attraction. So how to change your point of attraction is by changing our beliefs. All right. How do you change your beliefs? Well, a belief is nothing more than a continued thought that you think repeatedly. It's a chronic pattern of thought. A belief is a chronic pattern of thought. So if you know that your beliefs are based on your thoughts, you can change your thoughts, which change your beliefs. You have to have belief in yourself that you're going to be successful, you're going to live an abundant life, that you're going to become XYZ, whatever is on your dream board, put it there and fill in the blanks. But your chronic thoughts are what shape your beliefs. How you change your point of attraction is by changing your beliefs and your thoughts that are also in alignment with that. Because good things can happen, or actually bad things can happen to good people if they have negative thoughts and negative beliefs about where they're at. For instance, if you're always afraid to get in a car accident, every time you get in a car, you're probably going to get in a car accident. Just the way it is. In fact, that happened to me a few years ago. I was mindlessly driving around on the freeway and I just felt like, man, if I keep driving like an idiot, I'm going to eventually get in a car accident. What happened? A week later, I got into a car accident. So you have to be aware of what you are feeling and thinking at all times to change your point of attraction. So let's talk about how to put these things into place, okay? Here is my homework for you guys today. You ready? All right, here's my homework assignment. All right, so some of you may have done this already. If you followed me for some time, maybe it's time to redo it because maybe you've been out of practice and now you want to, redo it for yourself so that you can be in a better state of attraction. I want you to draw a line down a piece of paper. We'll do it together. Here we go. All right, ready? This is all you got to do. All right, on one side, you're going to have your old story, and the other side, you're going to have your new story. So on this side where your old story is, I want you to write your current reality as it stands right now. The story that you're telling everybody else. The story that you've identified with up to this point. And on this side, you're going to write your new story. So this is your future self, and this is who you're becoming right now. So I want you to write out your new story. It could be as wild and crazy. It doesn't matter. You're not writing this for anybody else. This is just for you. So here's what we're going to do. All right. Tear this paper out. I'm going to fold it in half like this. Your old story, we're going to rip out. This is not a good line. Straight line. Here's my old self. Here's my new self. My old story, I'm going to throw it in the trash. Or if you like me and you're extra dramatic, then just burn it. Burn it in a fire pit. Burn it in your fireplace. Burn it somewhere safe. Don't cause a fire. Okay, so you're getting rid of that altogether. That's no longer you. You don't identify with that anymore. That's who you used to be based on your past. It's not where you're going because this is now your new self. Your new self is written here. Hard to see with my camera. So this is your new self. You're going to keep this. You're going to put it in your wallet or you're going to tape it on your mirror. You're going to put it somewhere where you're going to see this 2 to 3 times a day. Maybe it's in your kitchen on your refrigerator because you'll probably be there 2 to 3 times a day, right? Put it there. And read it to yourself every single day. This is who you're becoming, and you have to believe it with all of you. It doesn't matter how crazy it is. If you read it enough times, it will feel normal, and it'll eventually feel right, and you'll be in alignment with that, okay? So that's step 1, what we're going to do. We're going to create our new story for ourselves, all right? Step 2. Do you guys have Think and Grow Rich book yet? Here's my copy right here. And my story started when I saw The Secret for the first time. And I thought my way into a partnership with Bob Proctor, much like how this story starts. And Burns attracted Thomas Edison and that partnership between the two. I gave you guys this book if you went to a convention last year. Some of you got signed copies. But I want you to go to the chapter of desire. Why does this matter? I'll show you right here. It's chapter 2. Right there. Okay. If you have this exact copy, then it's on page 22. If not, don't worry about it. But this is step 2 that I'm going to tell you guys right now. There's 6 steps in my second homework assignment. 6. 1, you got to fix your mind to the exact amount of money that you desire. It's not sufficient to merely say, I want plenty of money. You got to be definite to the amount. There's also a psychological reason for definiteness, which is described in a subsequent chapter. Okay. 2, determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money that you desire. There's no such thing as reality for something for nothing, right? So that's where karma comes in. Number 3, establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you deserve. Put a date on it. This used to freak me out because I'm like, what if I get to this date and then I don't get it? What's going to happen? That's okay. Don't worry about that. You can change the date if you need to. If the date arrives, you haven't got there yet. We're talking about progress, right? But put a date, maybe make it out far enough so that it's believable for you. The book is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Okay. Number 4, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you think you're ready or not. This is like, we're not preparing to work. We're just going to get to work. Okay. Whether you're ready or not, put this plan into action. All right. Number 5, write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire. Name the time limit for the acquisition. State what you intend to give in return for the money and describe it clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. So if you're going to hit a certain rank, work backwards from your goals and write it all out in a nice, concise paragraph that you can read every day. All right. Number 6, read your written statement aloud twice daily, once just before going to bed and once when you wake up in the morning. As you read it, you must see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. Okay. So that is the second homework assignment. Go get this book. If you don't have it, go to that chapter, get those 6 steps. Also, this book, if this book is too complicated for you, it was for me initially, read this book, Money and the Law of Attraction by Esther and Jerry Hicks. This book changed my life completely. And it is one of the requirements I have for people if they ever work with me. So they have to read that book. But number 3, this is the third homework assignment. I need you to write out at least 10 positive affirmations. You're going to also read these 2 to 3 times a day as well. So I just want to share with you mine really quick. And I use the ThinkUp app. Some of you guys know that already, but let me just show you. Leave my phone right here. Go to the ThinkUp app, and then you can browse and look for the ones that you identify with, or you can create your own. So here's some that are in mine right now. I count the little successes and they grow and multiply. I notice when I'm happy about my success, I inspire people. I now recognize that being full of life and energy is the key to building my business quickly and easily. More and more, I'm seeing more endless opportunities and I'm choosing wisely. Every day, I'm getting more clarity about the connection between joy and success. I open to my business growing in new and unexpected ways. I think, act, talk, walk, breathe, and perform as the $1 million business owner that I am. So these are the things that I tell myself. I used to tell myself these things when I was dead broke. And eventually, they came true in my life. So this is the homework assignment you guys got to do, all right, for this week. So again, the first thing, we're going to do our paper exercise. Number 2, we're going to read that chapter in Think and Grow Rich, right? Those 6 steps for auto-suggestion, desire, faith, auto-suggestion. And then number 3 is positive affirmation. So that is your homework for this week. And hopefully this lesson was great for you guys and you got something out of it. The recording will be uploaded as soon as it's done. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Next week, we do have a guest speaker. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet, but you do not want to miss it. So again, this recording will be on NBCWeeklyReplay.com. And until next week, stay safe and I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Bye, guys.